morning, everyone. Someone rise and say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our February board meeting. Vicki, we get us started with a roll call, please.
Councilman Morgan.
Here.
Councilman Shane.
Here.
Councilman Hoyt is absent. Councilman Lewandowski.
Here.
And Supervisor Dunn.
Here. All right, we have the review and approval of minutes from our organizational meeting of January 9th and our regular town board meeting of January 9th as well. No one has any issues. I'd like to make a motion to accept those minutes. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Lewandowski.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, reports and remittances from department heads and town committees. The supervisor reports were prepared for January, and the board members have them. They're included with the packet. We have the town clerk's report.
I got a question on the supervisor report. In the January meeting, you guys made the ARPA funds transfer for 2022.
Okay.
Do you know when we'll be getting the December's updated report?
What report?
The supervisor's report for December that has all the changes in it.
With the updated changes?
Right.
I'll check with Wendy and see that we get that right away.
Okay. All right. And then we still have to do year-end budget transfers. That's all I have on that.
Okay. All right, the town clerk's report.
For the month of January, trash brought in $2,615. The youth department with bottle brought in $110. Town clerk fees brought in $169. For a total revenue of $2,903.90 after paying Aggle Markets. The check that went to the supervisor was $2,894.90.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the town clerk's report. Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Shane,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Okay, the highway superintendent's report. Jen.
Pretty much gearing up for spring, doing lots of sanding, because as everybody can see, it's nice during the day, which is wonderful, but the sand melts down through, it glazes over, and then we're out again the next morning sanding. So lots of sanding. The guys have been doing a bunch of maintenance on the summer equipment, getting the rakes, everything ready to go for mud season 14 here. Otherwise, pretty much gearing up for spring, because it's going to be a big summer for some awesome improvements. So I guess we'll talk about that at other times in the meeting tonight, but it should be an awesome summer. So looking forward to that. Other than that, luckily nothing major to report.
Okay. Do you have anything else for Jared? No? All right, for the assessor's report for January, process sales and escrows from the county, reviewing properties in the field, meeting with taxpayers, holding office hours, going over new construction permits, and receiving new applications for exemptions due to postcard mailed out. That's what we have from the assessor. Okay, buildings and code enforcement. I don't see Mr. Witkowski here this evening. The Grafton Rescue Squad. See lots of members. Would anyone like to give you a report?
You want us to give the report? Okay. I'm Sonia Haber. I'm a new EMT and I'm treasurer for Grafton Rescue Squad. You want to introduce yourself?
Just a few things.
Go ahead.
I'm Melissa. I'm also a new EMT as well, and I'm the president of the squad. And so you just got to read how many calls.
Right.
Yep.
And so, yeah. And this is the report for January. 23 calls were dispatched to Grafton. We responded to 4. 2 were canceled prior to the crew being established. We requested to respond to Petersburg twice, but we did not have crews available. We have the breakdowns. We don't have to go by day of the week or times. You're not interested in that. Dispositions, we went to Samaritan twice, the Winterfeld standby once, and fire-related standbys twice. And total man hours on calls was 30.13. And we want to thank our outgoing captain for her work for the last 2 years. And we had multiple illnesses in the squad, 2 cases of COVID, unrelated personal illness. We have 5 people who took the EMT exam and they're certified, and a 6th person had taken it just before. So we have 6 new EMTs that are getting up to speed, and we hope within the next 3 to 6 months we'll be ready to make all of our calls.
Thank you.
Thank you. The dog control officer.
No calls for January.
Nice. Okay.
We did get that letter on the update for the animal shelter, but I couldn't print it, so I can't tell you what it is.
Okay.
I couldn't get it ready.
Okay, it looks like there's more correspondence coming. It just looks like they're still in the middle of it. Trying to make it $70 a day per dog, but it's very basic right now. I'll see if I can print it after the meeting. Okay. Youth program director, we have a vacancy there now. The library, Grafton Community Library.
So for the month of January, 605 books were checked out. Electronic books, 273. Patron visits, 240 adults, 19 children, 6 teens. Program attendance, 42. Story time is picking up. We have Mary Pearson, who's a retired music teacher, who is doing music during story time, which is 10:30 to 11:30 on Wednesday mornings. Zumba, we're still doing Zumba on Monday nights. March 18th, we have the Sheriff's Department coming to do a old expired prescription pickup. So we'll be doing a flyer on that and sending that out. And that'll be 10 to 2 on the 18th of March.
Okay, thank you, Leanna. All right, from the state park, we have an email from Tamara. Unfortunately, I will be unable to attend this Monday's meeting. Updates for the park. The snowmobile ride scheduled for Saturday, February 18th is canceled. Free ice fishing day, co-hosted by the Capital District Sportsman Center, is scheduled for Sunday, February 19th from 9 to noon. It's currently still on, but check Facebook for updates. Lots of kids' activities are scheduled for break week, from kick sledding to bird feeder crafts to a walk. Check Facebook for a full list. The March events are Maple Day, March 25th, 10 to 2, and Volunteer Open House, March 26th, 2 to 4. I'll see you all at March's meeting. Tamara. The Recreation Committee, I see a few members.
So far, we have Molly Dernan planned for August, but it has not been fine-tuned yet. We're going to be meeting Leanna, Nancy, and Betsy, myself. I don't think Kathy will be back in time, but anyway, we want to meet and decide if we should have it at the school or if a tent is possible, cost effective. And then we're considering the town park, maybe part of Tom's side yard. Nothing has been set yet, but we're really, really glad that Molly, she said yes, she'd be here in August, so this is great. And the first event is in June. I didn't bring the date, but it'll be on Facebook. I'll hang up some posters as soon as Betsy makes them. But that's going to be the town picnic for all town residents, family picnic, so bring kids. We'll have hamburgers, hot dogs. Nancy is working on the entertainment, and I believe she's already got somebody all set.
Yes, I do.
Country or
It's
blues or?
oldies and country.
Perfect.
And a mix of a lot of things.
Yeah, that'll be good. So everybody will bring a dish if they can, and if not, they can just come to it. And that's at the Graywalk Meadows at the Wedding Barn. Every year it's so popular because it's beautiful. It's just a really nice setting. The food is always good. Everybody has a unique flair on a salad or breads and desserts. So it's a great time for, town residents.
Thank you, Linda. Senior citizen representative? Oh, merrymakers. Back to you, Linda.
Kathy is in Texas, so I know that she's working on a trip for early summer, but I don't know what that is.
Okay, did you meet on the 8th? Did you have a February meeting?
No, we don't need, get all winter, and then we start up again in April.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
We've also talked about having, like the quarries come up and have a display, and having the Historical Society put a display on.
For the merrymakers?
No, for the recreation.
Oh, at Jane's.
Yeah, I
Yes.
thought we were still talking about that, sorry. Moved on.
You had me confused for a
That's
bit.
okay, I have myself confused.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, for communications received this evening, the board is in receipt of communication regarding the proposed property tax reduction for first responder volunteers. So that is something that do you want to talk a little bit about that, Frank?
Yeah, I handed along a copy of the correspondence to the assessor. This is something the town's already investigating. We also received the county's language and are working to determine the best match for our community. Once we do that, then the board will look to move forward with possibly a public hearing and then a vote.
Okay. We have correspondence from Scott Bendette, who is our new assemblyman in the 107th Assembly District. Dear Ms. Gundrum, I'm reaching out to you today to see if there's any local legislation that the people of Grafton are interested in introducing this year. As your representative in the New York State Assembly, I am keenly aware of my responsibility and honor to make your voices heard in the legislature. Due to impending budget business, legislation brought to my attention as soon as possible has a better chance of being introduced to others in the Assembly. I hope to ensure that anything you might need receives its due diligence in the legislature. Thank you for taking the time to read this and consider your response. Please do not hesitate to contact my office with any questions or concerns you may have. Our staff is at your disposal. Sincerely, Scott Bendette, 107th Assembly District. So I'll make sure you guys will get copies of that too. Then we have correspondence received, and I'll just pick it up on my phone. Do you have that? I didn't print it out. Email from Ann Calabro. Thank you. Thanks. I just had it on my phone and shut my phone off. All right, this was received Saturday, February 11th from Ann Calabro via email to the Town Board of Grafton. In an effort to make the workings of the town board more transparent, I would like to request discussion during the first half of each meeting to address all resolutions being voted upon after the public comment section. I feel that residents should know each member's thoughts, pro or con, for each issue being decided, after which time town residents may speak with more authority on each resolution because we will have more facts at our disposal. Thank you, Ann Calabro. Does anyone else have correspondence for tonight?
On Ann's email, I just want to say transparency is important to the board. If someone wants to talk to any board member regarding a resolution, please contact any of us ahead of time. We make the resolutions available online so the public may evaluate them and they can contact us directly. I also attempt to spend time in the town hall so that people can meet with me in person. The board is committed to openness and carrying out the duties that we have been delegated to do.
Under new business, we have a leaf blower for the highway department.
Sure. This one's an easy one. It is. Everybody might think I'm crazy about this, but when you hear the explanation, it's time we're proactive in this town, not reactive. I don't like Band-Aids. I like fixes. So, a couple years ago, somebody said, why can't our roads be as good as this town? I said, you're right. Why can't it? So, I went over there, looked, said, yeah, they kill it. Nice. So anyways, I talked to them, and the first thing they do is they get the leaves off the road because we're making topsoil. Everybody sees the leaves on the side of the road, they do look nice. But as a structural point, if we want to grade your road, we put a full day in advance trying to get rid of the leaves off the roads. What do you do with them? Try to find a spot. So, and if we don't, the water can't get off the road. It erodes your road. The leaves fill the ditches, they plug the culverts, and quite honestly, in the spring, we're dragging them back into the road, making topsoil in our roads. We are not structurally, I mean, everybody in this room knows leaves, sticks, and pine cones are not the best road building materials. So, that being said, I went to the town, I said, what do you do? They said, well, we have this, it's called a Buffalo turbine, and it's not a backpack blower, this thing is a monster. And you tow with a truck, so rainy days, the folks can be out there doing it. It's actually not as expensive as I thought, but the thing is unreal. And it's not a miracle, but you can't rent them, but we got a hold of one, smaller version, when we were grading a road, and instead, they were right in front of the grader, and it took them an hour to do a mile instead of 6 hours. And then if it gets windy the night before, or excuse me, that night, now you still got a bunch of leaves in the road, and you've still got the same problem you just spent all day today trying to alleviate. So, the hundreds of man hours we spend dealing with leaves and just trying to grade the roads, that being said, will save its money. Trying to blow the ditches out the best we can, obviously, you know, we're not down in there with shovels and rakes, but anybody that lives on a hill in this town on a dirt road knows that the leaves get in there, plug the culverts, and it is an absolute mess, and it erodes the roads. That, the trucks plow it into the ditch. In the wintertime, the spring, the ditches are full of leaves. So if you get them right out of there, while this, you know, we all know they're fluffy, they blow around in the fall. Get rid of them, clean the edges of the roads, and it all around just will make our roads a whole lot better. Plus, during the summer when we're patching potholes, it could rain today, tomorrow we can blow all the water out of them so we can fix the potholes because the roads are too muddy to grade, but doesn't mean we can't go take care of the pothole problems in certain areas. So it has that benefit as well. I waited to bring it up. I've been talking to the manufacturer quite a while, but for whatever reason, at January 1st, the product actually went down in price instead of up. So I knew about this 6 months ago, but they told me to just hold on until January 1st. So here we are, and it's a couple months to get it. It's just one of those that I think we're going to save huge amounts of time. It's not going to affect your taxes. I've been saving money for some of this equipment that we got coming up to purchase. The roller and things, you know, that we'll discuss later. But this is one of those ones that I've been saving money for. It's not ARPA money. It's not going to affect taxes. Every bit of this is just trying to make the town roads better, and it's going to save way more money in the long run, just in labor and getting things done, rather than screwing around, trying to do it the old ways. There's nothing wrong with those. They're just not as efficient. And in order to keep up with, you know, I guess it's like this. Everything we're trying to do as a group, in the day and age where who'd have thought a pickup truck is $85,000, you know, trying to improve our methods and make the roads better. This is just one start to the plan of the roads ought to be pretty. If everything goes to plan, the roads ought to be pretty wicked in this town by the end of the summer. So it's nowhere near a miracle, but it's a huge start in the right direction. So, and it'll definitely, beyond a doubt, pay for itself. And has a 10-year warranty on it, so it must be a pretty good product, because anybody that puts a 10-year warranty on something, it must be a hell of a product.
That's on for tonight.
Yeah, yeah. And quite a few towns are going that direction, you know, so it wasn't my idea, it's just taking their idea and running with it.
Jerry, can I just ask a question?
Sure.
I know I'm not supposed to.
No, that's all right, I would rather everybody knew.
But does this just blow the leaves away, or does it like vacuum them
It
up?
doesn't vacuum them, it just
So
blows them.
you're just blowing them?
Yeah,
to blow back?
Well, you blow them far enough or down over the edge. Yeah, we could never vacuum 100 miles of road. Because the town has roughly 60 miles of
Oh,
road,
that's what I was gonna say.
times it times 2 lanes, you know what I mean? You're talking 120 miles of road, we just couldn't vacuum that. So for the most part, a lot of places you can blow them right out of the road and they're not coming back, you know? So it's the best thing we could come up with. And local towns like Bennington does it, Shaftesbury, Glens Falls, Tuffer Lake, you know, I've talked to them and they said it's the best thing they've bought. So it's definitely gonna pay for itself.
Jared, I want to thank you for taking the time to explain yourself and your position on it. And I really believe that streamlining this is going to be great. I salute your ability to talk to us and keep us informed.
I want everybody to
And I
know.
would encourage that with everybody on the board as well. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I want everybody to know why. Every purchase that, you know, that we make, I just assume everybody understands why, you know.
And thank you for not meeting with us individually and being upfront. I appreciate that.
Sure, yeah, I got nothing. It's all our money, you know, it's all our town. So I took this job to make things better,
Thank you, sir.
so.
Did you say how much it was, Jerry?
It's 13,000.
Okay, the next item under new business is building issues at the senior center. And we have leaks. Go ahead.
There was a leak in the roof. I had a local roofer come and he shoveled the valley, and it's been fine, but obviously there's still a problem there. We'll have to address that. There's also been heating issues down there, and we have that fixed now and had to order waiting for a part to come in to get that totally fixed. And we're working on new light fixtures down there, because the lighting is just so old and we're updating on the lighting. That's all I have used.
No, what about, we could use ARPA money for that.
For the roof,
For the
because
roof,
he
for
said,
anything.
he said that he could actually tar it,
Mhm.
but it would look like crap, and
Right.
it's like right in the front of the building. And it could maybe last a year, or could maybe last 10 years.
Right.
But the roof is like over 20 years old as well, so.
I need some.
And I've been watching it, it has not been dripping, but it also did a lot of sheetrock damage.
Right inside, so there's that too. Email issues.
We've been having continued issues with our Spectrum emails. Again, tonight, I cannot get into my email here at the town hall. If I shut off the Wi-Fi, I'm able to get in on my phone, but even on my phone, I cannot get on our Wi-Fi. Or plugged in. 'Cause
I just tried as well and I
My
can't either.
computer's plugged in and it won't attach. We have to figure out, I have had 2 different computer companies, repairmen, working on this, and they have yet to come up with why it's only blocking Spectrum emails. I can go into Squarespace, I can go into Facebook, I can go wherever else I wanna go, but I cannot get into Spectrum email. We've worked with Spectrum tirelessly, trying to figure this out between all of us, and it's just not happening, so I don't know where to go next. I don't know if we want to look into a different email server. And it's weird because on my computer, he set me up with Outlook, and I can get into Spectrum through Outlook. So I don't know what
Well, you couldn't tonight, right? Or can you?
No, I can, but it won't download all my emails that I have already downloaded into Spectrum because it
Okay.
won't.
Thing come from the senior center?
I think that's a connectivity issue. I don't think they can't get internet or
I just
phone
don't
service.
know.
No, yeah, I don't think it's similar.
Yeah, I have internet, and like I said, I can go on Squarespace, Facebook, wherever else I want to go in the world, but I can't get on Spectrum email.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't either from
And
my
this is going
desktop
on
or my
for
phone. just-
close to a month now.
Library or Spectrum.
Mhm.
And tomorrow I can walk in here and it'll work perfectly fine for 2 or 3 days, and then it won't work again.
Okay.
So maybe
And I can
we'll
go
have
home
to
and do
look
it at my house.
A different server then.
I don't know, but, so I don't know, I don't know where else to
Different
go.
server.
I mean, there's enough of them out there, send out
Just
some
to
feelers,
see.
you see what's.
When I priced it up before, it was a few $100s a month for the emails. What we kind of mentioned was, you know, if we set up a Gmail account for people, it's free. if Vicky sets up a clerk Gmail account, and then as people need them, she creates free Gmail accounts and has her account as the recovery account. And if someone gets locked out, she can reset passwords and stuff like that. And then it's not costing the town any money. The problem with Spectrum is they're not, it's not a service they really support anymore. It's outdated technology, and they won't give us any more space. And it's just an issue we've had for a long time. So, my personal opinion is we set up Gmail accounts, and it's cheap, it's free, and we've got all that encryption, and you can access it from anywhere.
How's that for you, Vicki, with that?
It's fine with me. I was wondering, like a lot of the towns, their web domain,
Is-
host email. Did we ever find out whether Weebly does that or they do not do that?
Our web hosting company that we use does not offer that.
Okay. So I
But
don't-
we can use our domain, we just will be paying a couple $100 a month to have that service.
Okay.
It's just for, was it 10, 20 emails, is it worth it to spend a few $100s a month to have, Town of Grafton NY as our thing, as opposed to,
I don't.
Gmail?
It's time to invest in the people.
Excuse me.
No.
We just need reliable one way or another,
Right,
Exactly.
That's,
right. And if we set up with Gmail now, we can always come up with a different thing down the road if we can find a, cost-effective alternative.
good for you?
Do we want to make a motion to allow Gmail?
No,
It's-
no, because Gmail's not compatible. I heard Outlook,
I was gonna,
there may be an issue. Compatibility.
Oh, wait, I can use my Gmail account.
Will it forward Outlook?
I don't have to use Outlook. We only use Outlook so that I could.
Because of the
I would
issue?
do the research first and then make the
that's
motion.
fine.
Okay. All right, so that's something we'll bring up to next month.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not
In the
worried about
meantime,
Outlook.
We are back to Jared, bids for mowing tractor.
I just was looking to get approvals to see where we're at for the used mowing tractor, the one we currently have that every time we use it, it breaks, so I make another part. Because it's a 1974, so the arm that's on the back, you don't get parts for it. Even Zwax looks at me with my ideas sometimes like, what? You wanna make this? The one we currently have is just, it's just done. It served its purpose. So in order to, everybody that lives on a town road, at some point or another has seen us out cutting brush and cutting trees, trimming trees, and we just don't have something to cut grass with, during the summer. So I have no interest in buying a brand new one. I don't think we need that, but one that's a couple years old that we could afford, can save the money for that too, knowing this day was coming, that we were gonna need something. So I'd like to get some bids, or at least start shopping around for a tractor and get the approvals. Let's see where we're at, what things are gonna cost. Because a new one is simply out of the question, I think. Especially I don't think we need it. But I would like to get something that's user-friendly, something with a cab on it, with heat and air conditioning. So we've been working very hard to trim the roads back. I don't want to lose what we've gained by letting the brush come back and everybody knows Mother Nature, she's tough. So a day like this that's nice in this, we'll call it fake spring, there's no reason they can't be out mowing roads. You know what I mean? So it may not be an everyday thing during the winter, but I think in the summer we don't want to lose what we've gained. We've worked awfully hard to get the roads cut back, and I would like to maintain them now. And something from 1974 it just isn't it. We haven't spent money in a long time, and I've been saving. Like I said, I've been saving, knowing this day's coming. It's not going to affect taxes. It's not going to raise anybody's anything. We have the money for it. So
you're just looking for our blessing to go ahead and get bids for
yeah,
mowing tractor?
let's see where we're at. Let's see what these things. I mean, I've got a pretty rough idea what they cost, but let's get some legit bids and and see where we're at. Because renting them is absolutely astronomical, and you are locked into using it for that month. You are dedicated, you know, to use it for the month, and it is really expensive to rent these things, so. Right, it's weather dependent, it depends, there's a lot of times people have them booked up. So if you get it for a month, that just mows grass, that doesn't count a rainy day, you know, here and there when somebody can go take a road and cut the brush back, you know, so. I think that's a good purchase we'd have too, we haven't done it in a very long time. Right, that's what I mean, it's just time to, it's time to be proactive in this town. I think the roads are coming out pretty good, and I'd like to keep them that way.
Do your manage, get some prices.
So,
Well,
Yeah, I'd like to
who
make a
just made,
motion.
I was gonna say, somebody just made a motion to approve the highway superintendent to go out for bid for a used mowing tractor, subject to specifications provided by the highway superintendent.
Sure.
I'll second it.
There you
I'll
go.
second that.
2 seconds.
Who made the motion?
I made it. Seconded by both Kathy.
Councilman Bozers,
Yes.
Councilwoman Shane,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
Supervisor Leonard.
Yes. Okay, and the last order of new business tonight is keys for the court, for the conference room.
Previously, before we changed that lock, the court always had a key to that so that the VA had someplace to go in and confer with clients and stuff. It was overlooked on all of our parts that a key never got to the court for that. And it's been brought to our attention that they kind of need that back.
Sure.
So,
Okay,
that's looking for a motion.
I'd like to make a
And if we're
motion
gonna get a couple,
to...
one made, do we want to get a couple just so we save this down the road a little bit?
That has to be done by resolution.
Motion to cut keys? No, you can do a motion to cut keys, you don't have to do it
We
by
have,
resolution.
we have a resolution on file saying that any keys cut by the town has to be a resolution by the board.
Is this an emergency?
No, no.
All right, then wait for the next meeting then. Doesn't sound right though.
I think the last time we did a motion, we did that.
We were gonna have the original ones.
What do you think?
Well, we needed one just to have the original ones cut. We had a resolution for that. I didn't think we'd have to have resolution every time we needed.
Yeah, the resolution reads anytime an office is to be moved or a key needs to be cut, it has to be by resolution by the town board.
That's cumbersome, but okay.
Yeah, there was a reason for it.
All right, so that's on for March. Let the courts know they'll have to be for their March court sessions. Okay, for your old business, roller purchase, highway department.
We got bids for that. Anybody that wasn't here, hasn't seen it, there's another 1974 military spec with the military safety featured, wore out. If it breaks, we're making parts. The vibrator that's on it, which is what you feel when it's compacting, is making an awful rattle. It's just, it is not gonna handle what we're gonna throw at it this year for the amount of dirt that I wanna put down. So, we got bids, on a couple different rollers. The lowest one on there is fine. I looked at them all. Actually, a couple of us did. Again, it's not tax money, it's not ARPA money. I've been setting stuff aside for this day, knowing that this town has not spent money in years. And it's one of those things, we got a lot to do. And, you know, to be quite honest, I don't want to play games with some old pile of garbage. You know, I don't, it's just, you know, this new one is a lot quieter. It's twin drums, so it'll hit a lot harder and do a better job. It's a little bit more lower center of gravity, so it's a little safer. And it's just something, you know, we'll keep the old one for a spare in case this breaks down, but we just spend too much time working on old junk. You know, our job is to be out there making the roads better. And, you know, seems like you can schedule maintenance, but you can't schedule breakdowns. So they schedule themselves. So anyways, it's, I think, what's that, 33,000 maybe for that lowest bid. I'm cool with that. I don't think we need a $200,000 roller. It's a 2012. I think it's just a whole lot more user-friendly than a 1974.
Will this equipment be stored inside?
Well, no. In an ideal world, we're trying to figure out how to get a pole barn built, because I would love that, because the price of all this stuff, our garage every night is packed full of you gotta turn sideways to walk through there. You know, all the new trucks that we got, everything we can pack in the garage is packed in the garage. So, ideally, in an ideal world in the future coming up, I would like to build a pole barn out there someplace to preserve all this stuff. Because everybody knows that if you put it in a garage and take care of it. So that's the ultimate goal, was clean the yard, clean the facility, let's see where we got, let's maximize our room, and let's get on with this town and make things a whole lot better. So that's in the future plans, is to get a pole barn built so all this stuff can be undercover, because
All right, what's the plan from now until then? What are we gonna do to protect our investment?
you know, to be honest with you, most of the stuff lives outside everywhere else. I'm just very particular, like at my own home, everything's undercover. So I wish I had a better answer than
Okay,
that.
and that's fine. It's
But
something we need to think about.
It's something in the future that
Nobody is, but everybody, Becky does, so.
we have talked about in a little bit about, I'm in negotiations trying to figure out where to put it. And then I'll start getting prices on, you know, a long pole barn to get the stuff.
I thank you for your willingness to share. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
All right, any questions for Jared on that? We have that to vote on tonight. Okay. Okay, committee appointments, and I have to apologize to the board, those are stuck in email. So I've got them made, I emailed them to myself here, expecting to be able to print them, and they're in the email. So we'll be getting those as soon as we get into the email. Youth director, youth program. What direction do we want to go?
Yeah, exactly, that's what I wanted to know.
Have we got any ads?
I planned on running an ad, that was one thing I wanted to discuss with you, because I was like, I didn't feel like you guys really knew where we wanted to go with the youth program, so I was like, I'm gonna hold off a little while till you get the committee, whatever. But we can go ahead and run an ad and let maybe the director kind of give you guidance of where maybe we could go with it, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to have us run an ad for it and see what interest we got and see where we go from there.
Coming upon nicer weather, it's different,
Okay,
So
so I'd like to make a motion to.
Well, I had the approval last month, but I just didn't run it because it kind of felt like we didn't know where we were going with the youth program.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we know where we're going now, so we'll run the ad. Have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
If you need to redo it, I guess.
Okay, the next item under old business is the signboard from Petersburg.
I don't know, they approved the ad last month, I just didn't run it yet.
If you're making a motion for tonight, you gotta vote on it. But last month, you did a motion to approve it going out, so
So we're all set.
We just reaffirm that we.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you guys were ready to move forward, that's all my only question.
Okay. I say we're ready to move forward then. Okay, the signboard from Petersburg?
They said they'll sell it to us for $50, and then if we can get the highway department to, I'll have to order a piece of plexiglass. Well, I won't say the highway department, but somebody, like the laborer or somebody to build us the thing to put it on, that would be great.
Like a frame, like wood frame or something?
Like you guys, I got that picture that I showed you guys.
Yeah, where are you thinking of putting it?
I would like to put it near that sidewalk right there.
Mhm.
Personally, if I had a choice, I'd dig up that garden in the front, that's kind of messy, and put the signboard there, and then redo the whole thing with nice fresh flowers and make it really kind of look nice, but that's a dream that I have.
Sounds like a good
I
spot
think
for
that
it.
would look great.
Right.
Can you
But will it be
elaborate?
blocking your windows and stuff?
Not enough to make a difference,
Yeah.
think about it.
Maybe
You have it
put it
out
on
at
the end a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, move it one way or the other and just redo the whole flower garden. Because you could either put it up by the side of the building and then just redo the whole flower garden anyway.
$650, that's nothing we have to vote on, right?
yeah, it is. You're gonna make a motion, I would suggest, to authorize the town clerk to purchase from the town of Petersburg the signboard for $50 and to then place the signboard.
What exactly is the signboard?
It's, you know the signboard I have outside the door, right outside the door?
Where you put your
Right,
notices?
right. I have a hard time because I have my legal notices that have to go in there. Anything for planning board or anything extra like town activities, people were talking about the fact that we don't have anything, I don't have room for anything. Once I put our directory and our legal notices, I have no room. Petersburg bought this sign, it came in with a piece of broken plexiglass. Rather than the company making them return it, they just sent them a brand new one. So they were liquidating this one. So it's like,
what are the measurements of
it
how?
will, I don't know exactly what the measurements is, but it'll hold at least 3 of what I have out there.
It doesn't sound very aesthetically pleasing.
Well, if I don't have the picture handy, but it really does look nice.
Jody does. It sounds big.
It is kind of big, but
Was it something, Vicky, that if we wanted to downsize it a little?
right, we can downsize it. We don't have to do something that fancy. We don't have to do anything that elaborate. But I'm just saying it does. I mean, that would sharpen.
You want her to get it? You want, I mean, $50.
Exactly, and I think we can modify it.
Right, we can modify it, and we can look at where we want to put it. But I'm just thinking somewhere where people are actually walking by it.
Right.
Because you can put it on the other side of the
Right.
sidewalk.
Move the bench or something, we can do something.
Vicky, would that also be able to be used for like the activities? People have complained that they don't know, what the activities group is doing.
Right, that's what.
That would be
made me-
awesome.
Because we could use a section for that, a section for my legal notices, and then a section
I
for
kind of like it
town
myself.
board and stuff.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town clerk to spend $50 to purchase the signboard from the town of Petersburg and to further authorize her to direct the installation of same.
I'll
They have a
second that.
Seconded by Councilwoman Shane.
Do we have to buy
Councilwoman Shane?
plexiglass?
Yes, just one panel.
Councilman Lewandowski?
Yes.
And Supervisor Goodman?
Yes.
The installation.
Okay,
okay,
all right,
that's all.
we're on to the public comment portion of the meeting.
Well, capital computers.
I'm sorry. Capital computers, backup and other miscellaneous services. We had, that's Kyle?
You had brought all that stuff. Some of my computers, like the VAS, it backs it up in itself, but we have nothing backing up our computer systems here. So I think it's something that we really do need to look into. I mean, especially the issues we're having right now. Who the heck is to say that things aren't just so fast?
We discussed this before when Kyle came and gave the presentation. We just kind of put it on hold, but I spent the money out of my budget to get Wendy's
Right.
backed up. So the financials are completely backed up, but we need to do it for everything. Absolutely have to do it for everything. And we were on to it. Kyle did a great presentation. He's a local vendor. We know how to reach him. And it got tabled at the end of the discussion. But I think we should move forward with it. And get everything secured.
So if you want to bring that information back to the town board again next month or whatever, but I just think we need to either look into going with him or look into other options.
He was turnkey, ready to go with it. We'd be backed up. So, what's the comfort level with the board? You want to have Kyle revisit what he had planned for us, or go ahead and make a motion to go with what he presented us at the meeting when he was here?
I think we're gonna do it, we should wait till next month. Give us time to look at it and make sure everyone feels comfortable with it. I agree, we should have something that can just.
Okay, now we're on to public comment. Reminder, public comment is limited to 5 minutes per person. Be mindful the public comment portion of the meeting is a privilege. All comments and statements shall be directed to the town board. Please refrain from any personal attacks, name calling, or derogatory public comments toward individuals. Okay, Councilman Beaudry is our timer. There's a 5-minute time limit. Right? We need to start. Yes, Mrs. Baldwin, Donna Baldwin.
While we're on the topic of the email issues, can somebody inform the town folks that are here tonight how much has actually been spent on the numerous consultants that you've had over the last 1-2 years, that you've been identifying this problem for at least 1.5 years now, and there's still no resolution. How much have we spent on consultants with no resolution to the issues at hand? Okay.
Anything else?
I don't have an answer to that right now.
Wait,
What
we
it's-
have to,
Alrighty, the youth program. I know you're discussing the longevity of your program and possibly making some changes. Can you let us know how many out of town children attended last year that weren't Grafton residents? And did we receive all of the fees associated with their tuitions? Has that all been collected and recognized? Because a few months ago, it was still outstanding. Can anyone give us an update on that?
Councilman Lewandowski was looking into that with the families for the last few months now. Is there any headway with that?
This is public comment, not public question and answers, so I'm going to refrain from comment.
Well, considering the taxpayers put through an emergency bill to spend an extra $1,000 because you were concerned with the quality of the food for the children that was being served, and an emergency contingency budget was put through, I think I'd like to know if all the monies were recovered for children that were not town residents. That essentially the taxpayers put another $1,000 through for food.
Thank you for your comment.
Would I get an answer, sir, if I came to meet you one-on-one privately? Is that how we get answers, if we come to meet you one-on-one?
Public comment is supposed to be.
You don't need to
board.
school me, sir. Thank you.
You seem confused.
Thank you.
So public comment. is
Thank you.
directed by the
Excuse me,
board.
let him finish.
Board, not by an individual.
He's taking up her time.
Public comment, not public question and answers. Thank you.
You got anything else, Donna? You've got 2 minutes and 1 minute and, you have 1 minute and 56
No,
seconds.
I'll reserve the remainder of my time. Thank you.
All right, someone else from the floor tonight? Yes, Andy Johnson.
Fortunately or unfortunately, I might be able to help you with your email issue. Maybe I could talk to the board after the meeting and discuss it with you. I do know that there's a lot of issues with go way back to Time Warner and Roadrunner days. They have not updated much, but I might be able to assist you with that. Even being able to keep your current accounts. So if you want me to, I can stop by and talk to you after the meeting. The other thing is, as you know, my name is coming up tonight for the Ethics Board, and I really would.
No, we didn't know it.
I really would like the opportunity to serve the town in that capacity, and would look forward to it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else from the floor tonight? Yes, Joe Elaine.
I got a few documents from the town clerk last month, and I was going through them. And one of them was Frank's letter to the Ethics Board, and I would like to review some of that. On page 1, Frank said to the Ethics Board that paragraph 1 states, "In the video, it looks like Supervisor Gundrum did not know anything about the sale of the land." I think he should have said, "It looks like to me." Paragraph 2 requested federal grant. He requested the federal grant application from RPA that was filed. And he quotes that the town of Grafton supports the proposed community forest with the town supervisors engaged in the project from the start. That application states the town of Grafton. It does not state the supervisor says the town of Grafton. Paragraph 3, it is also important to state that that the Gundren Lumber Mill is in bankruptcy. Why the hell is that important to state? Paragraph 4 states the town lawyer advised her to recluse herself from the meeting, but she did not. Then again, that word is the town lawyer advised. It did not require her to recuse herself from the meeting. And if I was going to be put on the chopping block, I would have attended the meeting also. Paragraph 4 goes on to state that Jim Bonesteel stated on the 24th meeting that he called Supervisor Gundrum on the January 21st, and she told him yes, he has the town's support. Frank made mention of the video and the times in that video to review that. I did review it, and quote, Jim said, I reached out a year ago and supported the project, and she said she supported the project. And quote, I do not remember the details of the town's support, but yet Frank is using these to make allegations to the ethics committee so that the ethics committee could go forward and chastise the supervisor. The paragraph continues to impugn supervisor integrity by stating that she had previously sold property on Stupple Street. So what? Maybe she also bought a new car and shoes and went to play the slot machines. That's her business, what she sells. Paragraph 5, it should be noted that Ingrid Gundrum has made personal donations to the Alliance. Again, so what? Paragraph 6, he states that when Frank was speaking to the associations of the town, they gave him the opinion that when Supervisor Gundrum gave the town support for the project, she was giving credit, and it appears that the supervisor violated the ethics law. Once again, she did not give the town's support. And the Association of Towns gave an opinion. They did not quote law and chapter. Now it's been proven or said that she has the town's, now, has it been proven or said that she said the town supported it? The Ethics Board drafted a report from the complaint from Frank. The complaint alleges that this town supervisor used her town position to assist the application to purchase the government grant so that such application could better finance the purchase. I would like to know why she would make such a statement about the town supporting it when Mr. Bonesteel said that is not a necessary requirement. Page 3, second paragraph of the ethics report. Jim Bonesteel stated publicly that Supervisor Gundrum was who advised the town of Grafton's support for the community project. That's a lie. Jim Bonesteel, quote, in the video right here that you told us to look at, he couldn't remember what was said about the town's support.
That's time.
Do I have anyone else's?
Sure.
No, it doesn't
No.
look like that.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
You guys apparently don't watch TV when Congress can give someone else their time.
You can learn a lot.
This isn't Congress.
Yeah, this isn't, and it's also not going very well. I think that,
It's a matter of opinion, Joe. It's a matter of opinion. Anybody else got any questions?
Thanks to you for your comment.
opinions are like noses, we all have them.
I know.
Anyone else tonight from the floor? Yes, Mr. Buckley.
How are you, Madam Supervisor? Mr. Town Clerk, Madam Town Clerk, I had submitted.
Well, wait a second, it's to the town board, not to the clerk. You got
Okay.
that? address the board.
I can address whoever I need to, sir, and I don't need any
No,
coaching
you
from you.
can't.
Thank you very
It
much.
states right here.
Because last month, we talked about the
If
town
you
attorney.
can't follow the
Last month, we
directions,
talked
you're
about
gonna be
the-
asked to be removed.
Last time, we talked about the town clerk supervisor and the town clerk getting information from the town attorney about emails. I have sent emails to the town clerk under FOIL, and today I'm appealing that because I have not gotten my records. It has been stated from the town clerk that the town code enforcement officer has an email, and it's not a town email. It's a email from the one you suggested we should be using. The town attorney was going to look into whether or not those emails are foilable and are foilable. I was wondering how we made out with that.
All comments should be made to.
Well, you don't answer questions, sir, that's why I'm putting it to him, okay? So
Right.
this question was put last month, he said he was gonna look into it. I have an email from
This
the
is
town clerk
public
saying...
comment to the board. If
Excuse
you
me,
can't follow
I'm
simple
talking, it's my 5
directions-
minutes, I don't need you to interrupt me, sir.
It's not your 5 minutes.
It
it's
is
a
my
privilege.
5, it's my privilege, don't interrupt me because I'm talking, sir.
I'd
Now,
like to make a motion to.
no, it's
have
not,
David
it's my
Buckley
5
removed.
minutes, sir.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
I'm not going anywhere, folks, I've broken no
Roll
law,
call.
Yep.
okay? Excuse me. I have broken no law, matter of fact, you're violating my constitutional rights.
That's actually correct.
Okay, so I'd walk very carefully, folks. I'd walk very carefully. Now, Madam Town Clerk, I submitted a FOIL request. You said you were gonna get this information.
We made a
I
motion.
am
so we're gonna
moving,
make
sir,
the
I am
motion
moving
now.
to an appeal to the town board. Okay, that's what's happening right now.
Let's let Mr. Buckley take his
Thank you.
appeal. Not tonight.
No, we are doing it right here, sir.
We're
I'm
not
making an
doing it
appeal
right
to this
here.
board
No,
that
you're
I am
not.
looking for the I already sent it to her, sir. Okay?
Do it the right way. You can't.
I don't
give a
need you
big
coaching me
argument.
either. You don't represent me. Okay, I'm doing it exactly the
You're
way I
out
know
of
how to do
order.
it. And that's in public.
You're out of
Okay?
order.
David, why don't you state to the board what you're looking for from the town clerk?
I am looking for emails of the town code enforcement officer, building inspector slash planning board chairman. And she admitted that they have it, but they won't give it to me. Tom has an email, I've been told this. And you were gonna talk with the town attorney, and you even said you were gonna move forward to the Association of Towns to get an opinion. And I advise you, that's not where you go. Now, the town attorney should be advising you to go to the Committee on Open Government, because that's the opinion that governs these.
That's where you have to go.
No, I did it, sir, and I've already found that answer, and the answer is you are supposed to give it to me.
Sir, actually talk to that committee. They'll tell you what to do.
I've already spoken to them, sir. They've given me the opinion, and they've made it clear that you are to...
Please send that to us then.
No, it's not my job to educate you, sir. I'm not going to
No, 'cause they didn't
I am
send
not
you
going
one,
to
did they,
spoon
sir?
feed
They
intelligence to
didn't
this
send you
one
one.
group of
Okay.
people.
Really?
Okay? So that's why I'm appealing it to this board. You will be answering it in 10 days, because she's
We'll
already
look forward
received
to
it.
the written.
Moving on, Mr. Danaher, moving on. We're getting ready to do a resolution tonight in support of Mr. Danaher, and one of the other resolutions is the Ethics Board appointment. And the wording in that appointment says that we are reaffirming the previously appointed ones. Now, I don't think you guys are smart enough to answer this, that's why I'm gonna ask Mr. Danaher. Mr. Danaher, are we reappointing the former board members who serve on the Ethics Board?
This is not the public forum.
No, this is not.
Well, this is my 5-minute public forum,
All
sir.
right, I'd like to make a motion
No.
to remove David Buckley. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Back to
Make the
lunch.
Roll call, please.
Why don't you just move on to the next speaker?
No, because my 5 minutes isn't up, sir, I'm not done. Okay? That's also my
If
right.
there's no other speaker?
No.
Is there no other
Is
speaker?
my 5 minutes up?
Do we have
You
anybody
got a
else?
minute.
Thank you, that's all that matters, Mr.
All
Danaher.
right, we have,
Please be quiet. Now,
We have another.
Be quiet, who are you talking to?
him.
Show him
I don't know
class.
He keeps
Show a
interrupting
little
me.
class.
He's not going to interrupt me, sir, and I'd prefer if you wouldn't either.
I'm not responding to him on this stuff.
Okay, talking about the emails, when are we going to get this fixed
What are
for
you
the
looking
people?
for, what are you looking for? To know that they have an email address, or you
Yes, I want to know the
specific
public
emails?
email address for the code enforcement officer, the
Public
building
email
inspector.
address.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I
Code enforcement
want.
officer, building inspector,
Planning board chairman,
planning board
and,
chairman.
or Tom McCuskey and his private individual working for the
You can't
town.
get private
No.
stuff.
No, okay.
Yes,
You're just looking for acknowledgement that those emails exist.
yes, and I want the email. I want to be able to contact the code enforcement officer when I have to get a building permit, and I want to advise him when it's time to do an inspection. How do I do that without calling him? Okay, that's why we need emails, folks. And I want to know when this board is going to do what Jared has done and make the investment in the equipment that the people of
That's
this
time.
town need to
That's
function.
That's time.
That's time.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Beaudry.
You're welcome.
All right, anyone else from the floor tonight? Mr. Oliver?
Having listened to so many comments over the past 3 meetings, I'm reminded of the late Senator Patrick Moynihan, who famously said, "Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. They are not entitled to their own facts." And so I'd like everyone who has reached assumptions that are totally out of kilter to keep that in mind.
Perfect.
I have nothing else.
Thanks, John.
Anyone else from the floor tonight? Yes, Mr. Douglas.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment about, it's really going back to the last meeting we had where I thought that there's a really good dialogue between the board and the public at the last meeting. That was a big difference I'd seen. There was one particular board member that was not here for that last meeting. Now, I think there's a big difference between the two. And it's really sad, in my opinion, that we can't have an open dialogue of some sort. I understand the town attorney advises that you don't, answer questions. I get that. But that is not a way to help us move forward as a town. So I think that you really have to consider having that open dialogue. We can all be civil human beings, talk about topics, hear opinions. Maybe it doesn't sway your opinion whatsoever, but at least be open to hearing that. And you may not have the answer, a question that comes up in the public. It's very simple. I don't have the answer right now, I'll get it for you by the next board meeting. These kinds of things can be solved just by being civil to one another. And I really get sick of the fact that, when we just get shut down completely by Mr. Lewandowski. Thank you.
Anyone else from the floor tonight? Mrs. LaRock, Nancy Palish LaRock.
I want to talk about the Resolution 35 that's on for tonight. People have been told that they're, trying to say that Steve's stealing, so forth and so on. So therefore, what I did is I went through the laws, and the General Municipal Law 99B, and it's part of also the practice of internal control, states in 1.1.6, where no evidence satisfactory for the purpose of audit is available, the serial press number duplicate receipt form should be used for cash, for check, or for money orders received. One copy should be provided to the customer, and one copy should be retained for the audit purposes. And then 1-1-8 says, at the location of the department that collects fines, fees such as justice court or solid waste facilities, a sign that states, please call such and such a number if you don't receive a receipt. I believe that a survey was taken, or something was taken by, I believe, from what I've heard from customers, Mr. Beaudry was questioning, and Mr. Lewandowski was questioning about this, and came up with a resolution that it's going to stay the same. Okay? The Office of State Controller's Office saying that it's the law. When this was put in back when we had tags, that was after we had an audit. And it was made well known then that they had to change the way, and that's why they had the tags. I don't know who stopped that, but it appears further that under Article 18, there appears to be a conflict of interest with Mr. Beaudry as an employee and as a board member. And what that says is you have an interest in a contract when you receive a direct or indirect financial or material benefit as a result of the contract with your municipality. This is a factual determination. One exception for you are deemed to have an interest of contracts is with your spouse, that you have, is deemed to have an interest in a contract as your spouse, a minor child. The one exception for this contract of employment, which is individuals who have has your municipality. So when Steve last month, he voted for the petty cash for $100 for the recycling. I don't care if you gave Steve $600, but it's the fact that he's voting on stuff that's a conflict of interest. The board members are supposed to be held at a higher standard, and I'm not seeing this with any of the board. Third of all, we have the town of ethics that was just made in '22. A town officer or official or employee shall have the interest in any contract with the town when such officer, official, or employee individually or a member of the board has the power or their duty to negate, prepare, authorize, or approve the contract and authorize or approve pay of a contract. When we're talking about the recycling, the problem that I see is that Mr. Beaudry should recuse himself from the, you have, is it something funny?
You're supposed to direct all
Yeah,
comments.
you've got something in your
All
throat.
right, Nancy, continue.
That's fine, you're done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else tonight from the floor? Ann Calabro.
Okay, concerning Resolution 31, I do not understand why the contract with the town lawyer is open-ended. I believe it should be evaluated and renewed at least once every 2 years, not being made into an open-ended contract. I don't really have anything to say about that. I just think that it's unusual to have it with no end. Concerning Resolution 35, going back in the board minutes to January 2019, changes to the recycling center operations were being addressed. By March 2019, it was announced no changes would be implemented. But we did have a program before that. I had heard about the survey that you guys had done, and I have to say that an oral question of asking the customer if they want to go to a ticket system without talking about the issue of accountability is not a true survey. According to the New York State Office of the Comptroller, transactions processed by authorized individuals who may be required to receive money are subject to audit requirements. Every officer that was required to receive money should maintain the following records, among other things, cash receipt records and supporting documents. The audit effort should address the following concerns. Are the financial records complete and up to date, and are transactions reported properly? Reporting that an $8 bag is 2 little bags is not accurate. It's not correct. Also from the state comptroller, a flag for local officials indicating fraud includes no cash receipt logs being kept. To protect both the town and the town employees, a receipt system at the very least should be implemented, which provides assurance that public funds are not being misused. Fraud and abuse have other effects besides the amount of money that is lost and is unavailable for productive use by the government. They also have the corrosive effect of undermining the public's trust and confidence in the government. Since Mr. Beaudry is personally involved in the running of the recycling center, he should not be included in any vote concerning its operations. If Mr. Beaudry is unwilling, unable, or incapable of running the recycling center with the required accountability systems in place, he ought to resign and let someone more able take over the position. Concerning Resolution 36, is yet another job to be given to the overworked town clerk by adding her to the supervisor's accounts. It seems that the loss of the supervisor's secretary is already being felt since a town board member has stepped up to fill her shoes in answering the phones. Also concerning the town clerk, but addressed to the board, has anyone noticed the change in deputy town clerk? Have you all read the code of ethics? Does anyone know the definition of nepotism? It's favoritism based on kinship, bestowed in consideration of family relationships and not of merit. It usually takes the form of employing relatives or appointing them to high office. So a question for the Ethics Committee: was the choice for deputy clerk approved or denied? If denied, who gave the go-ahead for the choice of the clerk's sister to be hired as deputy? According to the Code of Ethics, Section 1715A, no town officer may participate in any decision specifically to appoint, hire, promote, discipline, or discharge a relative for any position for or within the town or the town board. Section 15H, no town officer may directly supervise a relative in the performance of the relative's official power or duties unless, 1, hiring or appointment guidelines of the town have been observed, or 2, non-related individual has been assigned as a manager to conduct performance evaluations. 17C, every town official must acknowledge the receipt of the code, but failure to acknowledge it does not affect it doesn't affect the application or enforcement of the code. And 1722, any town officer, official, or employee who violates code may be censured, fined, suspended, or removed from office by the town board. It seems that the ethic code is being applied unevenly. Let's see. I guess that's it. Thank you. I reserve my time.
Thank you.
A resolution to get their taxes. We didn't have.
Anyone else on the floor? Mrs. Lavway, Linda Lavway.
I don't have any state, federal government crap to spew to anybody tonight. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't spend hours on trying to go through information that may or may not even pertain to these folks. So I'm not gonna hit you with a bunch of garbage, because I think all this that I'm hearing tonight is political hacking, is exactly what's going on here. All I ever hear is, what's Frank doing at the town hall? He doesn't belong at the town hall offering to help the people. Well, I beg to differ with you. Steve, I gotta ask you, how many of these folks before you took cash? Took cash?
Not a one that I can see, other, Jimmy Saxon.
Everybody paid with cash before, for how many years? Then we used to
I've been
have the
here over
old
3
dump.
years.
Now, if you
It's been
lived
that
here
way.
all your life, you know we had the old dump. I have never heard of anything so ridiculous. We're talking about what, $4? You know, if anybody is that upset about it and you don't have $4, come and see me. Let Steve know, I'll come right up and I will pay for your garbage. Because what I'm hearing tonight is garbage. This is a political year where a couple of these folks will be rerunning. So everybody knows what this is about. Steve has done a good job. Frank has done a good job. Jody's done a good job. I mean, come on. Now, all of a sudden, why wasn't anybody complaining 3 years ago? You don't have receipts. Never heard a word about it. 10 years ago, everybody went over here and they paid cash. They were happy as a clam. Just hand in your money, get rid of your garbage, and go home. Now, before an election, we're pointing our finger at Steve, who's lived in this town all of his life. And personally, I think he's reputable. I can see a few that disagree with me, but we know what's going on. It's evident. You all ought to grow up and think
You gotta
how
direct
easy
it
it
towards,
is.
you can't direct towards people, that's not correct.
Thank you,
Anyone
Linda.
else from the floor?
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
Anyone else tonight from the floor?
Me.
Mrs. Beaudry.
Yes. I understand, Mr. Douglas, you liked last month's meeting, right?
You gotta
About your-
direct it to the board.
I'm sorry, okay, to the board. I overheard a few comments here with one of the people in the audience here. about last month's meeting. And last month's meeting, I watched every bit of it. Okay, I wasn't here, but I watched every bit of it. And it was the first time that you, as the board people, could answer questions for these people. And that's what they wanted. But what did it get? It got a free-for-all. It got debate back and forth. It wasn't, they didn't accept a simple answer from you guys. They demanded things, and they wanted it this way, and wanted it that way. That's not how things get done in this town. This town, I've never known it to be like this, ever. And one person said to me, why doesn't the board ever get along? Actually, it was Amy Rieger. Why doesn't the board ever get along? I said, the board gets along. Every one of them gets along, except for the supervisor. Doesn't like these 4 people in here.
Personal.
That is exactly, yes, it is personal. Yes, it is, but this is my opinion. Don't everybody have opinions? And that's what I'm saying. I'm sick or tired of this, you gotta do it this way, you gotta do it that way, this recycling. What's after you people that are so concerned about money? Why don't you go to Frank when he's available and sit down and say, I've got a suggestion. Let's try to do it this way, or that way, or this way. Well, Steve's the only one. You want it like Berlin? There's 4 employees. You want to take on 3 more employees to run like Berlin? Go right ahead. Berlin pays what, $150,000 in the recycling? We pay $30,000. But evidently, you guys aren't happy with that. You want to cause problems. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous and childish. So I hope the board members can come up with a solution. And if it has to be another employee, Steve, or the board, then hire another part-time employee. Okay? That'll increase your taxes. Yay, we all want to increase our taxes, right? Wrong. That's all I gotta say.
More of us will move out of New York.
Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.
You're welcome. Welcome, Madam Supervisor, too.
Anyone else from the floor tonight?
I'd like my 2 minutes. I think the point that's missed here, and from what I can see, no one's questioning Mr. Beaudry's integrity.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
I am not, sir.
Maybe you aren't,
So,
but there are people
Bunch
that
of
are.
5 people are.
The point,
I beg your pardon.
excuse me, it's my 2 minutes, please. The point is, the taxpayers paid $18,000 for a forensic audit. This was a recommendation from the audit. Right? To keep you out of trouble in the future. It has nothing to do with this man's credibility. It has to do with the fact that the taxpayers paid $18,000 for an audit, just like we paid lots of money for multiple email server people to come here, and nobody does anything. Why do we pay this money if y'all don't follow through and follow recommendations of the professionals that you hire that we pay for? It has nothing to do with this man's integrity. It has to do with the fact that we're spending tons of money here, around and around and around, kick the can down the road for year after year after year, and nothing gets solved. You just chase your tail constantly. If you're paying for a consultant, follow their recommendations. End of story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Okay, anyone else tonight? No? Okay. All right, moving on to motions and resolutions. We have resolution number 31 of 2023. Whereas the town of Grafton desires to utilize the services of Philip J. Danaher, Esquire, per the attached retainer agreement, so as to achieve town purposes, all is set forth in the attached proposed agreement. And whereas such legal services of the attorney for town are necessary to address legal matters that may arise in the town for which the town may need advice and assistance. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the town of Grafton, the retainer agreement attached hereto is hereby approved, and the supervisor is authorized to execute the applicable retainer agreement on behalf of the town of Grafton. Someone like to make a motion to adopt resolution 31?
I'd like to make a motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Beaudry.
Councilman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes. Yes.
and Supervisor Leonard.
No. All right, Resolution 32 of 2023. Whereas the Town of Grafton Ethics Board is made up of a 3-person board and there is currently 1 vacancy, now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Grafton hereby appoints, I'm told by Mr. Johnson, it's Mr. Johnson? Is that? What's that? I mean, I don't
think it works like that.
Well, how does it work? Who are the
There's a
candidates?
blank in the resolution.
There's a blank in the resolution. Okay. Who's appointed?
And who was appointed? It was only Mr. Johnson that said he wanted it.
No, there's
No.
other applicants.
That's what I'm
Mr.
saying, but he's the
Johnson.
one that
We
said,
have 2 people.
the board has even said who it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Are you questioning that? Who do you guys think we should put in there?
I think they should have
Isn't the board supposed to say?
It's there.
Yeah, isn't the ethics board supposed to say?
No. They make recommendations, but not, don't make the appointment. So we're waiting for a name.
I'll say Don. Don Johnson, I believe. Is that?
Don Raymond.
Don Raymond. Yes.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Grafton hereby appoints Donald Raymond to the Town of Grafton Ethics Board and reaffirms the appointments of John Oliver and Mike Smith as previously appointed members. Would someone like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 32?
I'll make a motion.
Moved by Councilman Bowdre, seconded.
I'll second it.
Councilman
I'm sorry, I didn't
Yes.
hear, is there a term limit on that?
No, there's no term limit specified in this resolution.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
Supervisor Leonard.
No. Okay. Resolution 33 of 2023. Whereas the Town of Grafton is desirous to take the necessary actions so the Town of Grafton Highway Department has the tools and machinery needed to work as safely and efficiently as possible. And whereas the current roller that is owned by the town is from 1973 with the safety features from the military and is not in the best condition due to its age and availability of parts. And whereas purchasing a newer asphalt roller would provide the Town of Grafton Highway Department with the ability to work much more safely while providing a more efficient and higher quality of work. And whereas the town having gone out to bid for a newer asphalt roller and the lowest best value bid having been submitted by Stevenson Equipment, Inc. for a 2012 Bomag BW 284 tandem asphalt roller at a total cost of $33,343. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Grafton hereby awards the bid to purchase a 2012 Bomag BW 284 tandem asphalt roller for use by the Grafton Highway Department from Stevenson Equipment, Inc. for a total cost of $33,343, with Stevenson Equipment, Inc. being the lowest bid. I'd like to make a motion to purchase the 2012 Bomag BW 284 tandem asphalt roller from Stevenson Equipment. And a second.
I'll second.
Councilman Bowdre,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
and Supervisor Leonard.
Yes. Okay, now 34. Whereas the Town of Grafton is desirous of utilizing all town resources so as to maximize efficient service to the townspeople of Grafton, and in that the laptop that was used by the secretary to the supervisor is now available for other use by the town, and whereas the laptop that is currently in the boardroom is no longer dependable, now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Grafton hereby approves placing the laptop that was formerly used by the secretary to the supervisor in the boardroom and making it accessible to town employees for town business. And I'd like to make a comment on this one. I use the laptop. That laptop was purchased by the supervisor's contractual equipment line item for use by the supervisor. I need that. I need that to access emails. I need it to work off-site. I need it to work here sometimes.
Computer in your office?
I have a desktop, yes, but
Yeah.
I need a laptop. It was purchased for the supervisor. when I had a secretary in the office, she could have used the desktop. But my plan is to continue using the laptop. So if someone would like to make a motion to pass resolution 34.
I'd like to make a motion. Pass.
I'll second it. Been made.
Councilman Bowdre?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShay?
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Mustafaro?
No. Okay. Resolution 35. Whereas the town board has been elected to represent the people of the town of Grafton and work for the people, and whereas after reviewing the processes and procedures for the town of Grafton Recycling Center and finding that the vast majority of residents that use the center would like the current cash system to stay in place and are not in favor of a ticket system, now therefore be it resolved that the town of Grafton Recycling Center's cash system will stay in place in its current form. And I believe, as a matter of procedure, Councilman Bowdre should recuse himself from this vote.
Do I have to, Phil?
Doesn't have anything to do with.
I'm not
Voted on
secretary.
these before as a past practice.
Right, so, okay.
Best practice if it's
So
so.
I'd like to make a motion
my
to
God.
accept that resolution. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Bowdre?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShay?
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Mustafaro?
No. Resolution 36 of 2023. Whereas the secretary to the supervisor's position was eliminated as of end of business on December 31st, 2022, and whereas the town clerk needs to be added as the contract person for the town's vendors and bills, now therefore be it resolved that the town of Grafton hereby removes the secretary to the supervisor off all accounts and the town clerk be added to each account. And I'd like to comment on this. Your taking over these accounts went back well over a year and a half ago anyway. What specific accounts are not, or still have the secretary that you're not able to access fully pursuant to the resolution we passed a year and a half ago?
Verizon, they wouldn't work with me that one day.
There's a few of them. So
What
by
are they?
passing this, anytime she has an issue, she can supply them this resolution, which helps get her switched off. Either way,
She should reply or give them the one from a year and a half ago that puts her in charge of everything.
but
I mean, this is just redundant.
this isn't redundant because we need to take Erica off any accounts that are still on there, and she is on some of them.
Which accounts, Vicki, is she still on?
I don't know. I don't know what you take her
You're
off
saying
of.
she's got them on account. Where is she still on accounts?
After the meeting, we can go through.
Well, we're passing a resolution tonight to do something and you don't know the answer to what accounts she's still on? I'm telling you she was taken off.
I don't have a list in front of me, but we have it, and you haven't talked to the board and
Sounds like just a
and
survey.
communicated with any of
They
us,
did.
so if you had a concern about that, you could have reached out, since we made sure there was plenty of time out there. But any email that I send to you or phone call I try to make to you, don't hear anything back. So it's kind of difficult to communicate. with
I've
the
never gotten an
supervisor.
email from you, not in the last.
Does anybody else who's not a town employee or any of their names on any accounts?
No, there shouldn't be. I mean, there shouldn't be.
Then they shouldn't.
So,
Well, technically, this motion isn't even made and seconded yet. You guys are having discussion.
right, so I'd like to make a motion to pass this. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Bowdre?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShay?
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski?
Yes.
And Supervisor.
Yes. All right, resolution 37, whereas the town of Grafton is desirous to take the necessary actions so the town of Grafton Highway Department has the tools and machinery needed to work as safely and efficiently as possible, and whereas purchasing a Buffalo turbine BT mega blower would provide the town of Grafton Highway Department the ability to work much more efficiently while providing a high quality of work. And now therefore be it resolved that the town of Grafton hereby approves the purchase of a Buffalo turbine BT mega blower for use by the Grafton Highway Department from Finch Turf, Inc., for a total cost of $13,695, with Finch Turf, Inc. being the sole source vendor. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 37. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilman Lewandowski.
Councilman Bowdre?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShay?
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Mustafaro?
Yes. All right, resolution 38 of 2023, affirming Town of Grafton sponsorship for the Grafton Town Festival. Whereas an annual festival is held in July of every year known as Grafton's Town Festival, and whereas this popular and well-attended festival includes Grafton's Our Lady of the Snows mission sponsorship of Sister Kennan's Giant Raffle, a chicken barbecue, and numerous vendors and summer activities. And whereas all Grafton's organizations are welcomed and encouraged to participate in the festival. And whereas all Grafton citizens are invited and encouraged to attend and participate, along with citizens of other communities. And whereas the town of Grafton has been advised that the 2023 festival will be held on Saturday, July 22nd, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the grounds of Grafton's Town Park on Roxborough Road. And whereas it is customary that the town of Grafton approves and sponsors the festival and authorizes the use of the town park for this civic activity, now therefore be it resolved that the town of Grafton hereby sponsors the annual Grafton Town Festival to be held on July 22nd, 2023. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 38. Councilwoman DeShane.
Councilman Bowdre.
Yes.
Councilwoman Shay.
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Yes.
And Supervisor Wright.
Yes. Okay, great. All right, that covers our resolutions for tonight.
Ingrid, I forgot to mention that the library has a drop-off now for the...
I'm sorry, what?
I said, I forgot to mention at the library report that the library now has a drop-off box for the food pantry.
For the food pantry, yes, thank you. That's right, yes. Any donations for the food pantry can go to the library during their hour, during your open
During
hours.
hours,
It's not
26
outside.
hours a week, yeah.
Right, okay, very nice, thank you. All right, I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills as audited. We have vouchers number 33 through 87, excluding number 60, for a total of, $95,432.17. I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills as audited. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Bowdre.
Councilman Bowdre.
Yes.
Councilwoman Shay.
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Yes.
Supervisor Wright.
Yes. All right, our next meeting is our town board meeting on March 13th, 2023 at 7 p.m. We're at the legislative privilege portion of the meeting. Would anyone like to use legislative privilege?
Yes, I would like to. All right. A phone call came in to the clerk's office from a town citizen. He was shouting at the clerk and spoke to her in an improper manner. The clerk said the individual wanted to ensure that my last name was spelled correctly. So while in the presence of two town officials, I contacted the individual to ensure the spelling of my last name was correct. The individual felt the need to yell at me and hung up on the phone. The individual then texted me saying they were going to call the state police and seek harassment charges against me. I did not reply. The individual texted me again saying not to contact them again. My last name spelled right here, it is correct. I accept that we will not agree on everything. I also can respect a request not to contact someone because they don't want to speak to me. But I will not tolerate verbal abuse directed at the clerk or any other municipal employee. It is completely inappropriate and will not be permitted. If this abuse continues, the board will be obligated to take action to ensure a safe working environment. All right, then all right, and then we had down that the Office of State Controller, I spoke to them about the recycling center, and they said that although it is not best practices, there is nothing illegal being done over there. We did do what we call survey or tally. We put in, we had over 70 people put in for what they felt they'd like to see at the recycle center, and we're talking about $4 for a bag, and nobody wants to go to a ticket system. That voted there. We did not publicly put it out everywhere because we don't want people that might have an agenda show up that don't even use the recycle center and put tickets, put voting in. We just put it out there for people that use it, that show up, they could see it, and then they would vote on it. So it was pretty blatant what they wanted to see. Now, there was a comment brought up about the clerk hiring possibly a relative. If you look at our ethics law, you have to see the definition of relative, and two siblings that do not live together is not considered a relative under the law. So that is,
Is that in
not,
our ethics law?
yes,
Where is that in the ethics law? Here it is right there.
yeah, right there. You
I don't think this is our.
can- Right, this is not our ethics law.
This is our ethics law.
Okay,
This is our ethics law, right here. Victoria Verdict, Department of State, filed December.
two-page
Yep.
ethics?
So,
Yeah, because it's like 18 pages long.
Yeah,
So-
two-page ethics law.
This is
Okay.
many.
Yeah,
I've
so-
got the
Okay,
rest
I'm
of
just
it if you
wondering
want
where
it.
you put that.
No, now's my time.
Spend your time all night.
And then, emails, personal emails, I'm under the impression that the code enforcement officer does not have a town email, he has a personal email. The consulting fees for email, we have not hired a consultant for emails, there's no consultant fee. We've set IT people in to try to fix an issue with our network and why we can't get it. Let's see. Open dialogue, I think everyone can see why an open dialogue isn't always the best method in a public. There's too many personalities here, and it's already 8:30. Last meeting, it was 40 minutes of public comment where it was just out of control. Let's see, the youth program, I did look into it, and there are some families that were not from the town that we thought were. We have not done anything on it because as a board, we have to decide if we want to request the money from the people or not. The ethics email that Joe received, I'd love to see a copy of that email. Let's see if I've got everything. Yeah, we are a small town. So in small towns, there are provisions where people can hold multiple positions. I mean, we see that with the code enforcement officer who is also on the planning board. It's because we're a small town, that is something that is permitted.
Frank, may I ask you what you're talking about and referring to there? Are you referring to the fact that Mr. Beaudry is both the board member and out there as the recycling
Right,
person?
that is permitted.
Okay, that had, okay, as far as what I handed tonight,
Yeah, I'm just letting people know that. Jim Bone Steele and his comments have contradicted themselves numerous times. The audit, people talk about the audit. The audit was a great tool that we were able to use. The supervisor's books, or not books, but reports did not match, and they didn't match for years. What they were able to do was go back and explain that it happened prior to 2013. We're able to now get the books in the correct order to where now we have reports every month that are easy to read and we can understand.
Did bookkeeper Wendy Ashley discover that, and the audit firm acknowledged that that was entirely Wendy?
Right, but it's pretty obvious to see that if we didn't have an audit, that might not have ever been fixed.
If Maureen Seal had to resign suddenly for having been harassed, then we wouldn't have Wendy Ashley.
Has not been harassed. But that type of thing has gone on for years and years, and the current supervisor never attempted to get it fixed. So, but it's interesting that hiring an audit company and then everything gets fixed.
Everything but recycling.
And you having a ledger as well, which they recommended, which
I have my books, I have a ledger.
you have a ledger, so every time a check comes in, you put down the date you received it and you marked it all down, because you said multiple times you don't have that.
The controller's office is of the opinion that the deposit tickets and the copies of the checks as to when they were stamped in is sufficient as a ledger.
And the controller's office has stated to myself that what we do at the recycle center, although isn't the best practice, is not legal and is allowed to go on.
Why wouldn't you want to do best practice?
Well,
Just
very
say-
good question, and I will
yeah.
answer that, because we spend $30,000 to $40,000 a year on a recycle center. while Berlin, I believe, is closer to 150,000.
It's not about Berlin,
Wait a
Frank,
second,
it's
my
about
turn to talk.
Grafton.
It's my turn to
They
talk.
service an
All
answer.
right, so if you look at East Greenbush, like I did as well, they're $300,000 to $400,000 a year. We're looking to find, and I will say this, we don't have the best policy in place, but it's something we are continuing to look into. We haven't found the best fit for us yet. We've looked at the opportunity of punch cards, we've looked at tickets, but each one involves either the clerk's office or Steve taking on more responsibility when, if you're there and see it, it's crazy sometimes.
And I have receipts for anybody who wants a receipt. Nobody ever asked for them, but they're there. If you want one, I'll give a ticket.
Right. So even though this isn't the best practice right now, we're moving not to move forward while we look at other things. It's just every month going to public comment, wailing on us when we're trying to do the right thing. I also hold hours, so yeah, if you've got a question on something and you want to meet with me individually, that's a much better place to have a conversation than in a 5-minute public comment where you got everybody else chiming in. You can't have good dialogue there. So, I think that, hold on, just want to make sure I have everything. Oh, I'd just like to also speak on public comment. There's a few people that take advantage of public comment. It is a privilege, and if people cannot control themselves, I'm serious about removing someone if they can't act like an adult and behave the way that this town deserves. And that's everything I have.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this evening in loving memory of Lorraine Bonnet and Patricia Pafundi. May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Now, I'll stick around here for a few minutes and I'd like to talk to you.
I did.